Hi guys, welcome back. This is the third time I'm trying to film this video. Not trying that, I'm actually filming a whole full video, and hopefully, please pray for me. I pray that this particular one goes live. But anyways, let's get right into it. By the topic, you already know what we're going to be talking about. This is a particular question I've received from a lot of people. I've answered people in the DM, but I just felt the need to put out a video that just encompasses the whole entire journey, you know, from your pregnancy to when you have your child and how they start school. If you have been following this channel probably in the last maybe 1 year, you know that we moved to Australia 2019, and I'm a mom of 2. I have a boy who when we came in was 5, and my daughter at that time was 3 years old. If you're migrating to Australia, I think it's very important for you to also consider these things. Sometimes it's not just about migrating. You need to know the right time you want to do this thing. For instance, if you're pregnant now and your visa comes through, or you're trying to even apply, is it better for you to have your baby in Nigeria before coming, or in Africa or wherever before moving to Australia, or is it better for you to come here before having your baby? Those are the type of things I would expect everyone to consider, because it's just a whole lot of commitment. This is not Africa, or where you say, oh, you have a village. There's no village in this particular place. So you need to consider all those childcare options and all of those things before moving. That's just about the brief summary. With that said, let's get right into the video of today. So the very first thing we're going to be talking about today is understanding the parental leave system in Australia. Parental leave is when you take some time off work to take care of your newborn baby or your adopted baby, or maybe even a surrogate baby. So that's what parental leave is. Different organizations have their policies of what is acceptable, how many days or months or years you can go on parental leave. I'll be using my organization as a case study in this instance. So I work with one of the big 4 audit firms, and I believe the policy should be similar across these firms. I'm not sure, but in my office at the moment, you can take 26 weeks leave. And when you take these 26 weeks, they will pay you your normal salary for those 26 weeks. If my math is right, 26 weeks is about 5 months, thereabouts. But after that, if you still want to stay at home, it's really up to you. There's an opportunity for you to take extended parental leave, but bear in mind, you won't be getting paid. At the end of 26 weeks, they stop paying you. Most people go away for 1 year. That's how it works in my own office and different organ. Even I have one of a mutual who just had a baby, and our office is only 20 weeks. She's entitled to get full pay for 20 weeks, and at the end of 20 weeks, she stopped getting salary from the office. And that's where the government comes in. In Australia, you have to register with, especially if you're a new migrant, register with Centrelink, or is it that they call it Centrelink, or Services Australia. So they are the one that manage all the government benefits that they give the people. So you say family tax benefit, childcare subsidy, all those things is managed by Centrelink Australia. So you need to register with them, especially if you're a permanent resident. It's important to also state that in my company, if you're a full-time employee, there's no, oh, you can't get pregnant until after. There's no policy. Some of these things might change based on discretion, and you know, you use your discretion. Imagine you just came in on a temporary visa and immediately you're having a baby. You to think it through. It's just worth thinking through. But there's no lay down policy to say you can have a baby because you're just coming in now. You can, so far you're a full-time employee, but if you're on a contract, all those other employment streams, you might be subjected to certain rules. But if you're a full-time employee, permanent contract, you can have your baby anytime. Now let's go back to the government policy. So what the government does is, and this is only applicable if you're a permanent resident. If you come in as a temporary resident, you're not going to enjoy this benefit. So you're just going to be, you have to make do with your company or whatever organization you're working for. Whatever they offer for parental leave is what you enjoy. But if you're a permanent resident or a citizen of Australia, you're entitled to additional pay from the government. At the moment, the government will pay for 22 weeks parental leave, and this pay is at the minimum wage. They will pay you what the minimum wage in Australia is at the moment. So per day, I think that is about $176.55 per day, and per week this sums up to about $882.75 per week. So that's what they will pay you for 22 weeks. So if you had 22 weeks to 46 weeks, it makes sense, right? Most people would just say, okay, I'll just do 1 year, because 22 plus 26 for me, if my company is giving me 26 full pay, government, almost like the government pay, it will be very small. It's not even, it's less than half of what I will earn at work. So you have to think it through very well before you take that type of leave. That's that about the government. But bear in mind also, with getting money from the government, there are a lot of tests. They'll do income tests, they'll check your family income, they'll check a lot of things. There are a lot of eligibility criteria you have to meet. In the description box, I'll put the link where you can get all of this information in more detail, but that's what it looks like at the surface. And also, it's just important to notify your employer very early. I have seen people do it, and how it plays out is very good. Immediately they take you in, they organize a meeting, catch up call, and just say, hey, just letting you know I'm having a baby. Especially in our own kind of environment or work, where what we do, where you're planning for years when you're bringing people on a job, on an assignment. So it's just important to have this honest conversation. It helps everybody on the job, and especially if you're even on a visa where things are determined for you based on discretion, it's just important to have early conversations that, oh, I'll be going on parental leave very soon, I'll be going on this very soon. But that's what it is. My company offers 26 weeks full pay. The government, because I'm a permanent resident, will offer me 22 weeks, and that's just it. So it depends on you. Do you want to take 1 year? Do you want to take just the 26 weeks? Or it just depends on you. But my company will allow you to take between 12 to 18 months. It's really up to you. But they, they'll pay you for when they want to pay you. So I think that's everything about parental leave. So the next topic we'll be covering is childcare options in Australia. There are different childcare options. The first one is the daycare, and then the other one is the family daycare, or you can also opt for the in-home care. So the daycare is just a normal establishment, be it private, be it public, where they have staffs who care for your kids, and like they have lots of kids there, and they are, I think most times they do 3 to 1 staff depending on the organization and their policy. And then you have the family daycare. Family daycare is mostly run in someone's house. For instance, I can just decide to go and register, but it's registered regardless of it being run in the house or managed in the house, or it is registered. Some might even have a registered business place to run it, but it's just a smaller group of people with whoever the owner is, and then they run it. My kids attended the family daycare, and I'll come to that shortly. You also have the in-home care, which is you employ someone, maybe off Facebook, off referral, or anywhere, and then they come home to come and take care of your kids. And this is best for those who have like multiple kids, who are under, people will say, oh, I have 3 kids under 2, 3 kids under 3, all those mamas. Yeah, so it's good. Maybe it's a better option for them, because by the time you access how much you pay for a child. So now let's go into cost. When you're going to the normal daycare in Australia, it is about $110 on the average per child per day. I know you'll be like, yeah, $110 per child per day. That's why most families, they would usually sit down to assess it. Is it good for one person to work? Is it good for, like, you have to calculate it. How much am I going to earn? How much am I paying for childcare? Is it worth the while, or is it just better for one person to sit at home, take care of the kids, and when they're 5 you can pick up your career again? Things like that. Those are the type of conversations you need to have very, very early. And $110 is if you're not a permanent resident. If you're on a student visa, or you are here on a temporary visa like the 482 and all this other type of visa, you are not entitled to any government benefit. If you're here as a permanent resident or a citizen, you are entitled to subsidy, and we'll get to that. So I think that's just something you want to consider if you're coming, especially if you're coming with kids under 5. When we came in, my daughter was 3, my son was 5. My daughter was not able to start school. My son started school almost immediately, but my daughter was not able to start school. And then Obi was trying to get a job, and I was also working immediately. So what we did was we contacted a family daycare. And another thing is, when you're on this journey, you need to build honest, good relationship. So, and that's how you find some of this family daycare, because funny enough, there was a time I was searching online, I didn't find any. I got to know about the family daycare we use from someone I met on Nairaland. Then Nairaland used to be bubbly, a place to get information, especially if you're migrating and things like that. I don't even know what the Nairaland is up to now. But yeah, I met a sweet family friend. Even now we live very close to each other. They live just behind us. So I met her on Nairaland then, and then they came in April. We came in October. So she just told me, oh, they found this woman, they're going to be using her if you also want to use her for our daughter, and our daughter at the same age. So that was how we met the lady, the woman we use for our family daycare. She's no longer in Australia now, that giving you guys the information, but she's no longer in Australia. So that's how we got her family daycare, and I think at the time she was charging $50 per day per child. So if Fury goes there for a week, that's about, I think, $250 for the week in the month. That's about $1,000 on the average. So that's what it is. You have to just consider all of this cost in whatever plan you're making. Did I say, yeah, 250? Yeah, I was right. My head was recalculating the math. So that's what the cost looks like for family daycare. But if you're going to a proper daycare, you're going to be paying $110 per day. But what I think is the most difference between the family daycare and the normal daycare is the start time. If you're going and you're paying 110, most times it allow you drop off kids maybe from 6:30 to 6 p.m. I think most of them. But with this family daycare, she used to allow us drop off kids at 8 a.m. and then pick up time is 5 p.m. It just did not, it's just unrealistic, because 5 p.m. is when I'm just leaving the office or closing. How will I pick up my child at 5? But sometimes you can have like special arrangements with her. I don't even know how we manage it at the time, but obviously any special arrangement or for that time you're staying there, it attracts additional fee. So it's just good. And how you can find family daycare most times is, like I said earlier, you have to build relationship with people, ask people, maybe if you go to church, if you go to the mosque, just around like that. And there's a lot of support you can get on Facebook groups as well. Like I'm in Brisbane Moms group, I think, on Facebook. I've gotten a lot of information from that group, even though I'm not active there, but like I see a lot of information that I find very helpful, and if there are questions that I have answers, so I also try to respond on that group. So there are many communities you can join. Brisbane Moms group, like that's if you're even in Brisbane, but if you're in any other states, just go to Facebook, you'll find a lot of groups there. And also Nigeria Association. If you're Nigerian, most countries they have the same thing. I know the Zimbabweans have that as well. So make sure you just join all this group. And when you're building relationship with people, see, you need so much support when you're living in this type of country. Build honest relationship. Tell people, oh, this is the challenge I'm facing, so that they can direct you to the right place to find help. You know what I mean? So that's that about childcare. And I think, yeah, also before I wrap up on childcare, something important to mention is that you need immunization. I remember there was a time we were looking for childcare for, I think, my son after school care at the time, and we're yet to convert his immunization from the Nigerian immunization to the Australian immunization, and we lost that spot because we didn't do it on time. And those ones, they just told us, sorry, we can't wait for you anymore, we'll take other people who are ready. You're meant to convert your immunization from whatever country to the Australian immunization one. What you would do is just go to any doctor and then tell them you want to convert it. Again, it's important to be, because I remember when my friend in Melbourne came in and she went to just see a doctor, and the doctor was like saying $500 or something, and then she went back to church and asked around, and somebody was able to send her to a cheaper doctor, like just refer maybe a doctor in their church, and then helped her to convert it maybe at $50 or $100. Now I can't remember the details, but it is very important. Like this, you need people. You cannot live in this country in isolation. That's just the truth. You know the way people be like, oh, I don't need anybody, I don't know anybody. There's no country for that, because the thing that will happen is you'll be spending a lot of money on things that you should not. So, but asking the right questions in the right place, getting the right answers will help you a lot. It will save you money, time, and just, a lot of things. So that's everything about childcare in Australia. So on financial support, I know that a lot of people ask, oh, what is tax benefits? Do you get anything like that? In Australia, there's not so much that we are entitled to be honest. And the best place to find this information of what you're entitled to and everything is the Centrelink or Services Australia I mentioned earlier. Again, I'll put the link in the description box for you to check it out. At the moment, we are not entitled to family tax benefit because of income test. Most people that get family tax benefit are single parents or couple with just one main income. So those are the type of people that get support from the government. So me and my husband, we are working, so yeah, we are not getting family. And of course, family tax benefit also has different eligibility criteria which would be considered, but again, it is only for permanent residents and citizens of Australia. If you are none of those, forget about it. Okay, one benefit we are currently enjoying as permanent residents is the childcare subsidy. So what the childcare subsidy is we have our kids at after school care and before school care, so the government pays a portion of that. Also, this one differs from family to family. I think, maybe, I don't know much about it, but my husband is in charge. I think at the moment maybe we get 45% off, or maybe 50, I don't know, but this thing is based on income. I know people who get 80% of their childcare fees, because maybe it's only one of them that is working, or they're just different criteria, to be honest, which I don't know about. But you get childcare subsidy to just help you pay for your after and before school care. Most schools here, they are free, you don't need to pay. Public schools, if you go to private school, it's on you. The government will not pay anything for you for that, because the public school is there for you. So if you go to private school, it's all on you. But if your kids are attending after and before school care in a private school, they will still pay for that, because it's just an extra service. It's not the main school activity. It's not the main school, if that makes sense. So at the moment, the government supports us for child after and before school care, and it's not like it's a lot. Maybe, for instance, the after school care is $45 per day. The government can help you pay maybe 25, depending on the percentage they've allocated to you based on your income. So that's just what it is. So we'll pay 25, the government will pay 25 dollars if it's $50, so we'll pay half. I think that's where we sit at the moment. I'm not sure, but that's that. Even if I tell you where we're sitting, it will not help, because your income might be different, and then the percentage they will give to you is different. So, but all of these things, again, I'll leave the link in the description box for you to check it out yourself. But if you're not permanent residents or citizens, you might not be entitled to it. So I think that covers all the financial support you can get living in Australia. But then again, I'll leave the link in the description box for more information. Then another thing I wanted to mention is parenting tips for new migrants. I did a video with my son the other time. I'll try to link that up here, about how his experience was settling in school. I just want to emphasize it, that it is very important for you to build relationship with your kids, where they can share things with you as they are happening, not when, you know, over time and things have gone really wrong. So build relationship with your kids, help them settle in as well, try to understand their plight, what they're going through at school. The other day we went out with one of our family friends, and she was telling me that when they came in newly, they were living in the north, and then they had to move to the south because their son was complaining, oh, he does not see a lot of people like him, you know. And then when I used to tell people, whenever people say, where can I live in Brisbane, I'll say, I think you should live in the south, because the north is where the Aussies are, like, so it's mainly white people that are there, you know what I mean. So, but the south is just a mix of everybody. So it's just important to understand all of those things as well. Build relationship with your kids. It gets better over time. They will start building their own persona as well, and then building relations. You as a parent, build a community. You need a community. You can't live in this country in isolation. Is, of course, learn to know when to cut people off, and you know, some people will take advantage, and you yourself don't take advantage of people. It's just a different ball game of experience living in this type of place. So just build honest relationship. That's just one thing I'll say. If anybody is no longer serving you, please cut them off and move on. Like this life, don't take advantage of people. Don't say, oh, because I know people where maybe you even have opportunity that a friend wants you to drop off their child, and you now start taking advantage, just gonna be dropping the child unnecessarily, because, you know, just don't take advantage of people, so that you will not burn bridges, and then when you actually really need help, you won't get anything. So don't take advantage of people, don't burn bridges, just live a peaceful life in the best way you can. That's just what I would say. At this point, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you find it very useful. We've talked about parental leave, we've talked about childcare options, we've talked about financial support you can get, and we also just talked about helping your kids settle in, and, you know, building the importance of building community. I feel I've covered most of the basics you need to know. If there's any aspect you want me to like expatiate on or talk more about, or if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I will be there responding to your questions. And that's everything in this video. If you've watched this video up until this point and you're yet to subscribe, that's not good enough. Please give this video a thumbs up, make sure you click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.